At 18 years of age, my every night was set up for all kinds of men, violated mercilessly by them, and whenever I resisted in any way, I was brutally beaten to satisfy their perverted needs. My name is Grace Parker. After failing the college entrance exam, I followed a woman from my village to work in a big city. I don't have much education, so Aunt Chen introduced me to a hair salon. She said that working here could earn several thousand a month, which is higher than the salary of an average white-collar worker. If she wasn't close to me, she definitely wouldn't have introduced me. However, I never imagined that this ordinary hair salon would become the nightmare of my life. Aunt Chen took me to the hair salon and left. I don't know what she said to the male boss, but the smile on her face grew thicker and thicker when she left. She even stuffed me with 200 yuan and told me to learn something here. I was very grateful to her. These 200 yuan were a godsend for me at the moment. My family's condition isn't good. My grandma is seriously ill in bed, and supporting me through high school was already the limit. So I wanted to go out and find a job as soon as possible to reduce the burden on my family. After Aunt Chen left, I finally took a serious look at the boss's face. You can call me Mr. Thompson from now on. Go in and change your clothes. Every employee here has specially tailored clothes. I followed Mr. Thompson into the hair salon and found that it was actually quite different inside. It looks ordinary from the outside, but I didn't expect it to hide so many rooms inside. The soundproofing in each room is very good. At least I can't hear what's being said inside when I'm standing outside. Mr. Thompson threw me a set of pink clothes and told me to go in and change. I could only leave the backpack I was carrying outside. I hesitated at the door because all my belongings were in this backpack. Mr. Thompson saw my hesitation, waved his hand, and told me to go in quickly. Don't worry. I'll keep an eye on it for you here. No one will take your things. I thought that the person Aunt Chen introduced shouldn't be too bad, so I said thank you and hurried in to change my clothes. The clothes were normal, a pink suit, but I don't know if the size was a little small. But I felt uncomfortable all over. I kept adjusting myself in the mirror, but no matter what I did, the clothes still felt awkward. Are you done changing? Grace, come out quickly. Hearing the boss's urging, I had no choice but to come out with a stiff upper lip. I'm done changing, boss. What should I do next? I've never done this before, and I don't know how to wash other people's hair. I'll have someone special teach you. Don't be afraid. You'll definitely learn it. After that, he introduced me to a woman in her 40s and asked her to teach me how to wash hair. That woman sized up my face. Not bad. The person we took this time is better looking than the last one. I guess we can raise the price. I detected something was off and looked at the woman in front of me warily. The boss quickly nudged her arm, telling her to say less. She's new and doesn't know anything yet. You can explain it to her later. The woman pushed the boss's hand away dismissively, still staring at me with a meaningful look. A newbie, huh? Newbies are good. A bad feeling suddenly arose in my heart. But I figured this was a legitimate salon and shouldn't scam me. Where's my backpack? I clearly left it by the door, but now the area was completely empty. I put your backpack away. I figured the stuff inside must be valuable, so I locked it in our storage cabinet for you. I didn't suspect anything and thought the boss was pretty nice. Oh, my phone's still in the bag. I need to grab it. Upon hearing the word phone, the boss's expression stiffened, and he looked unnatural, his eyes darting around. I forgot where I put the storage cabinet key. Have you seen it? The woman glared at him impatiently, grabbed my hand, and pulled me into a room. How would I know? Just come in and do the training. Maybe Mr. Thompson will find it by the time we're done. Oh, okay. I was originally going to grab my phone to let my family know I was safe, but I guess I'll wait until after the training. The woman led me to a small room with a shampoo chair specifically for salons. When customers come, just watch from the side. It's simple, nothing you can't learn. I nodded and obediently stood to the side, claiming a spot. In the afternoon, customers started coming in. The shop didn't seem big, but there were a lot of customers coming and going, which was hard to figure out. This is Leo, a loyal customer of our shop, and this is Grace, my new apprentice I'm training today. After the introduction, she had the customer lie back in the chair and demonstrated for me. Washing hair doesn't require much skill. It's mainly about good service. You need to ask the customer if the water is too hot or if their head is itchy. Got it? The woman asked me sternly. I was stunned for a moment and quickly nodded. Then the woman told me to take over, and I nervously took her place. Don't worry, Leo. She's a high school graduate, so she learns quickly. If anything feels uncomfortable, just say so, and I'll scold her immediately. The customer looked me over carefully. Okay, I'll let her try. After all, newbies need to get hands-on experience. I imitated the woman's movements, lathering up the man's hair. I was very gentle, afraid of hurting him. Suddenly, his large hand grabbed my wrist. As I was wondering what was going on, I heard him say, "Keep going, use a little more pressure." The woman in charge of checking the teaching results next to me gave me a look, and I immediately increased the force and massaged his head vigorously. Is this okay? Is this strength good? The customer hummed comfortably. Yes, I am very satisfied. Keep going, while enjoying my shampoo service. He didn't forget to praise me to the woman. This new girl, Grace, is very good. Her technique is great, better than that Zhao Peng before. From now on, it'll be her. Hearing the customer's affirmation of my skills, I worked even harder to scrub his hair. Okay. I also think the new girl, Grace, is more nimble. I have some things to deal with outside. I'll go out first. After the woman went out, I felt my breathing become awkward. For a moment, I didn't know what to say, and my hands weren't as skilled as before. But fortunately, the man didn't mind. Are you nervous? Don't worry. I come to this store often. This store is pretty good to apprentices. Even if you do something wrong, they deduct your salary. The man asked me gently. Really? My eyes lit up when I heard about the salary, and just like that, the man and I started chatting. He asked about my age and family, and I answered truthfully. This was the first person I met in the city, so I wasn't wary of him. It's not easy for you to come out to work at such a young age. I will come and patronize your business more often in the future. Hearing the man's words, a warmth arose in my heart. Thank you. You are the first person I have met here. The man smiled, looking at my simple face. After he left me 20 yuan, saying it was a tip. He would come back to me in a couple of days. I secretly stuffed the tip into my pocket, thinking that the big city was indeed a fast way to make money. Even washing hair had tips. Boss, where's my phone? I want to tell Grandma the good news. The boss shook his head and spread his hands helplessly. I accidentally dropped and broke your phone. I've already taken it to the repair shop, and it will be delivered tomorrow. Then boss, do you have a phone I can borrow? I want to tell my family. The boss pointed to the door with the number 310 on it. Then go to that room. There is a landline in that room. I said thank you and immediately walked towards the door, never imagining what awaited me. The moment I opened the door, the back of my head was hit hard. In the moment I fainted, I heard many women's voices coming from the room. I was woken up by cold water, and I was tied to a chair, unable to move. You better be honest. If I find out you're trying to contact other people with a phone again, you're dead. After they left, a strange man was staring at me in the room. I didn't know what he wanted to do, but my intuition told me it wasn't going to be good. I haven't read many books, but I know a thing or two about the birds and the bees. That woman today was pretty hot, way hotter than the last few. He sized me up with the same look age-given object. Let me take good care of you. Relax, I'm here to show you a good time. Don't be so resistant. He ripped off my pants and started kissing me. I felt disgusted and turned my head away, but he forced it back. He left rough marks all over my body, even biting my neck until it bled. I was like a worn-out rag doll, thrown on the floor, my clothes torn to shreds. Well, a virgin. You should be honored that I'm going to be your first. Tears streamed down my face. I couldn't hear what he was saying. All I wanted was to escape this hair salon. I hadn't run 2 steps before the man slammed me to the ground. He stepped on my thigh and dislocated my hand. Ah, my hand. The man sneered, increasing the pressure on my leg, as if he wanted to crush my bones. You made me do this. I was going to be gentle, but you had to run. I'm telling you. You can't escape. There are cameras everywhere around here. Where do you think you can go? With that, he picked me up and threw me into another room. There were 5 or 6 other girls in the room, and they were in no better shape than me. You're all just stupid. Why can't you just listen to us? Why do you keep thinking about escaping? Look at that one. She's been here for 10 years, and she's still stuck in our shop. I felt a chill run down my spine. The woman he was pointing at did look very old. With a handprint on her face, she was skin and bones. You could tell she'd had a miserable 10 years. I was thrown in here. There were no beds in this room. Everyone slept on old straw mats at night. They looked at me with vacant eyes, not even bothering to say hello. after I initiated the conversation. I learned their names. The one who had been here the longest had been here for 10 years. The most recent one arrived 3 months before me. Don't you want to escape? I pressed. You can't escape. We've been here for years longer than you. And we're still stuck here. The one who spoke had been left here 3 months ago. Her name was Jolene. Maybe because she hadn't been captured for long, there was still a faint light in her eyes. Unlike the others who were already numb, but there are 7 of us now. I think we can try. I still hadn't given up. We've tried everything. Any information we try to send out for help is taken away by the man who dragged you in here, and we get tortured. I think there must be a way. I refuse to believe my life is limited to this tiny salon. Before I went to sleep, I thought of Aunt Chen. She was the one who introduced me here. Does she know what's going on here? Will she come to see me? My only hope now is Aunt Chen. She has a big deal in our village. A lot of people followed her to the big city to make money and came back with new houses, so she has a lot of influence in our village. She picked me out right away, saying she had a good job for me that paid well, but I never expected it would end up like this. The next day, the man woke me up by throwing a bucket of cold water on me. I was shivering from the cold, and when I looked up, I realized everyone was gone. Are you a pig? Sleeping so late. Time to get up and work. No time for you to sleep. The man stomped on my stomach roughly, which reminded me of what he did to me yesterday. Get up now. You have to wash customers' hair later. He kicked me out the door. The intense pain made me curl up, clutching my stomach. I lowered my head and couldn't help but throw up what I had eaten yesterday. When the man saw me throw up, he didn't let me go. Instead, he grabbed my hair and shoved my face into the vomit. As he held my head down, he smiled, showing the greatest malice of a demon from hell. You have to listen, or you'll suffer much more than you are now. Think carefully about it. I endured the nausea and was thrown into a tiny, cramped bathroom. Go wash your face, clean yourself up, and go serve the customers. The next day's customer was another pot-bellied man. He seemed very satisfied with me, giving the man an approving look. The new one is pretty good, young and beautiful. You should have more girls like this in your store. The boss bowed his head and replied, Yes, Mr. Thompson, well, definitely hire more people like this next time. The man took my hands, which were already dislocated and hanging limp. You take good care of Mr. Thompson. He's a very important person. If you serve him well, you'll get 2 pieces of meat for dinner tonight. I just found it laughable. Turns out there's no sky-high salary here. The best they'll do for you is give you 2 extra pieces of meat for dinner, Mr. Thompson. She's new and doesn't really know the rules yet. She might offend you. The man touched my butt and chuckled foolishly at the boss. It's okay. I just like my little girls with a bit of a temper, after all. They're more fun when they're a little older. Before entering the room with Mr. Thompson, my ankles were chained by the man. Mr. Thompson, unfazed, pushed me onto the bed as soon as he entered the room. Let me see what kind of magic you possess that makes you more expensive than the others. To get a taste of you as the new girl, I skipped Flora this time. He impatiently ripped off his clothes and then pounced on me. Hurry up. I want to taste you now. Mr. Thompson's breathing grew more rapid. His hands roamed over my body as if to devour me completely. I squeezed my eyes shut, tears silently streaming down my face, my heart filled with despair and helplessness. However, just as he was about to succeed, there was a sudden, frantic knock on the door. Mr. Thompson, something's wrong. The cops are here. A panicked voice came from outside the door. Mr. Thompson's movements stopped abruptly, his face instantly turning pale. He scrambled off me, frantically throwing on his clothes, muttering curses under his breath. I seized the opportunity to get off the bed and huddled in the corner. A glimmer of hope ignited in my heart. The police are here. Maybe I can be saved. The door was thrown open, and several uniformed police officers rushed in, holding batons and handcuffs. The lead officer coldly scanned the room, his gaze landing on Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson's face instantly turned ashen. He tried to argue. The police officer sneered, pointing to the chains on my feet. Mr. Thompson was immediately speechless, his face ashen. The police officer ignored him and turned to me, saying, hearing those words, I couldn't hold back my tears any longer. They streamed out instantly. The police officer came over, carefully unlocked the chains on my feet, and softly comforted me. I was taken out of the room by the police and found chaos outside. The other imprisoned girls had also been rescued, their faces filled with fear and confusion when Jolene saw me. A glimmer of hope flashed in her eyes, and she asked in a trembling voice, Are we really saved?" I nodded and squeezed her hand tightly. "Yes, we're saved. The police took us to the station and arranged for psychologists to provide counseling. After a few days of rest, my emotions gradually stabilized. The police told me that our successful rescue was thanks to an anonymous tip, and that informant was Ann Chen. It turned out that Ann Chen had known about the dark secrets of the shampoo shop for a long time, but she had never dared to speak out, fearing retaliation. It wasn't until she found out that I had also been drawn into this den of iniquity that she mustered the courage to call the police. She knew she had let me down, so she chose to report anonymously, hoping to make up for her mistakes. Hearing this news, my feelings were extremely complicated. Although Ann Chen had harmed me, she was ultimately the one who saved me. Perhaps she had her own difficulties and helplessness. A few days later, I was sent back to my hometown when my grandma saw me return safe and sound. She was so excited that tears streamed down her face. She hugged me tightly, choking with sobs. "Grace, you're finally back. Grandma thought she would never see you again." I gently patted my grandma's back and comforted her. "Grandma, I'm okay now. I'll stay by your side and never leave you again." After returning home, I decided to start my life anew. Although I had experienced such a terrible nightmare, I wasn't defeated. On the contrary, this experience made me even stronger. I signed up for the adult college entrance examination and decided to continue my education. At the same time, I also started learning about law, hoping to help more girls like me who were in trouble. A year later, I was successfully admitted to university, majoring in law. At university, I met many like-minded friends, and together we founded a non-profit organization against trafficking and sexual assault, dedicated to helping women who have been victimized. One day, I met Jolene at a charity event. She had emerged from the shadows and become a psychological counselor, specializing in helping women who had experienced trauma. We smiled at each other and embraced tightly. "Grace, thank you," Jolene said softly. "If it hadn't been for your persistence back then, I might have given up long ago." I shook my head and said with a smile, "We persevered together. In the future, we will help even more people." In the end, I finally found my direction in life. Those past nightmares, though painful, made me stronger. Through my efforts and perseverance, I achieved a reversal in life, becoming a truly independent and courageous woman. And those who had hurt me eventually received their just desserts. Mr. Thompson and his accomplices were sentenced to heavy prison terms, and that shampoo shop was completely shut down. I stood in the sunlight, took a deep breath, and my heart was filled with hope. I knew the road ahead would be long, but I was no longer afraid, because I had learned how to face the darkness and how to find light within it. Enjoy daily updates of captivating, high-quality romance novels. Thanks for subscribing. The end.